Hello, friends. This is an ongoing discussion from the book Disruptive Discourses, the Unconventional Commentary, which is available on Amazon.com. So, tonight we are discussing on the chapter Finding Fun from Flats to Forests. We build palatial palaces and great resorts, and then ultimately we long to stay in tree houses and other humble abodes. So basically, this chapter is about the craving for simplicity despite our advancements in lifestyle and technology. So the talk starts with the importance of words. It's true we are living in an age of visual media. We are heavily dependent on images and videos. This is a video that you're watching right now. Words have played an important role. What you listen through this video are words into sentences and then ideas. Words are very central to human civilization. It is all mentioning about how we are able to remember certain kind of words but not the others. For example, a student might be able to recall the lyrics of a song, his favorite song, his or her favorite songs, but they may not be able to remember the formulas they used in chemistry or physics. So it's all about our interest. Interest is what determines our memory of words or perhaps any other thing. So interest can be divided into three types. The first one is simply interest. So that's a very harmless way of saying that you like something. For example, your friend asks you out for a coffee and you say, yeah, I'm interested to have a coffee. So that's basic interest. And then also there are hobbies. Now hobbies can be your what you do when you're free. So you play football or you play chess. People resort to different types of hobbies: stamp collection, swimming, trekking. So there are different types of hobbies which we do when we are free. The third kind of interest, which is the most important aspect we are focusing in this talk, is the passion. So passion is a very intense form of interest, and passion is not something which you do when you're free. You take out time to do your passions and to follow your passion. Somebody who is in pursuit of their passions, they're always passionate about it. They're always in that particular interest, and the rest they do when they're free. Somebody who's in writing, for example, they're always in writing. When they're not writing, they live a normal life of other interests and hobbies or responsibilities. So passion is something which is very essential, which is very integrated, which is very organic to the individual. So he simply cannot even breathe without the passion. In fact, passion is something which drives you to live, to achieve that particular achievement. It's a milestone which we are crazily after. Passion is not what we do when we are free in your pastime. In fact, passion is what you actually create a new time. Everybody is blessed with just 24 hours. But then out of the 24 hours, if we had the 25th hour, we would even dedicate that, we would commit that extra hour to the passion. So passion is what drives your existence, it drives your instinct, and we will do anything to achieve our passion. So different people are passionate about different things. Some may be destructive as well, but then it's a invisible energy within the individual, and passion has created history, and whatever we know of innovations and discoveries in the world have been actually driven by passion and passionate individuals. And then the chapter proceeds to discuss about the irony of human achievements. We innovate and we discover new things, we create new types of technology, and then ultimately we start craving for simplicity. People, men and women, both work hard throughout their lives to get rich and to get more wealthier, and in the end they give up all these resources, they give up all their achievements in favor of a very simple, humble life. This is a paradox which sounds very funny when it comes to the human personality. We kind of create big concrete structures and we want to live in the penthouse, drive a sports car, have the all the best of luxuries possible, and in the end we want to simply go lie on the beach sand, or we want to go live in the forest. We try to go to the countryside and find a farmhouse. Human beings start with complexity, sophistication, and then he marches towards simplicity and humility. So this paradox is maybe unique to human beings, though our it can be argued that our thirst for new experiences have led to new discoveries. However, we always have that primitive conscience hunting us. Somewhere in deep within our souls, we have that instinct to go back to the primitive way of life. Instead of waiting for your annual vacation or your occasional breaks, staycations in some luxury hotels, we should look for everyday appreciation of life's blessings. Beauty lies almost everywhere. It may be on the road that you going to your office every day, but you never noticed. There may be wonderful people among your colleagues, your team, your neighborhood, which you never took the time to notice. So we need to find everyday sources and reasons, excuses, quote unquote, for appreciating life. Instead of waiting for the last day, one fine day, when all the worries will cease, or when you have a vacation from your business or your work, let's try to make an effort to find beauty in the flowers that you might find on the roads, in the people nearby, and the small animals, your dogs and cats, that you may find in your locality. Life's joys cannot be postponed because we are living in a very uncertain times, and it is better to familiarize, experience the small beauties of nature, of life, than to wait for miraculous, grand, expensive happiness. There is also a section which deals with minimalism in this chapter. People generally assume that accumulating stuffs, accumulating possessions, home furniture, watches, electronic gadgets, whatever you can think of, appliances, happiness is not about abundance. It's about the quality in the limited things that one can experience with full awareness. Happiness is not arithmetic, but is qualitative. So there's no point accumulating, increasing the number of items in your wardrobe, in your kitchen, in your living rooms. Rather, it's about experiencing life with simple and little things. The concept of abundance, it's very dangerous. It's not natural. So we need to connect ourselves in the equipments we are using, in the resources we are enjoying, which is more connected to nature. So wood and mud. Wood because it grows in soil, and soil because that's where we are made from. So these elements, these organic elements, have to be integrated into our living rooms and into our daily experiences. We have to find ways to get more closer to the organic existence, and that is where perhaps the real joy lies. We need to get rid of the unnecessary. Although the word unnecessary is a relative term, happiness has nothing to do with numbers, but it's all about qualitative and imaginative realities. Listening is a sacred act. Today, humanity is sailing on a grand ship of technology and advancements. Almost every other traveler knows, or rather is connected through a wide choice of platforms to one another. But at the same time, this ship is slowly sinking in the sea of depression. Though we have concerts, films, social networks, and every other way we can connect with each other, yet we feel disconnected. Why is this? Words can really heal human hearts. The lack of words spoken from the bottom of the heart, I think that's what contributes to the disconnection despite our technical connection with one another. We have likes and follows and supports of lots of, maybe thousands of people, yet our soul feels lonely. This is because the soul doesn't get the words that it wants, or it cannot share its feelings to a person whom it feels intensely and personally connected. Even in highly advanced societies, people, despite their connection, do not have someone really close to them to just simply hear their pains and their joys. So, what we really need is people who have an ear to lend us when we are upset, even when we are happy. Because when we don't have human beings to share, not only things of sad nature, but happy and joyful moments, these are the most torturous moments for a human being. Because not having another soul to share your aspirations, your depression, your achievements, that is a silent torture. So, what we need are not just robotic humanoids or chatbots. We need a person, we need a human being alive and kicking. Not only just to hear, but to understand, to empathize, and maybe just give a pat on our back that it's okay, things will improve. So, we need human interaction to cut down on the unwanted deaths due to depression, to reduce suicides. This is what will make humanity back to its original glory. This is what will help us to stand up when we are in those moments of fall due to the stress of modern life. So we need kind words, words which can heal us. So words can never be downplayed. Words are what actually gives us the energy and the vigor and the passion to continue our life despite the struggles that we may be undergoing. So words are sacred, and listening is a highly sacred act. So friends, the idea of this chapter, Finding Fun from Flats to Forests, was about about the paradox of pursuing expensive and luxurious lifestyle, but then ultimately abandoning and relinquishing all this and then going for simplicity. We also discussed about the words, how they help to heal, and again about the minimalism. That life is not about life's happiness is not about abundance, but the quality and the simplicity that humanity is actually made for.